Hey everybody, Edo here, and next up in the Kickstarter Basics series for the League of Game Makers is getting a review, right? So you have decided, you've made a game, you're going to do a Kickstarter, you have a quote, right? And you're getting ready for the page and you hear you need a review. And so the first question you probably ask yourself is, do I need a review, right? The answer is yes. Yes, you do. Absolutely you need a review, right? I recommend a video review and probably a couple written reviews. And the reason you need a review is it just fundamentally validates your project. It says, this person has made something, a game, that is coherent enough that he could send it to another party, they could play it on their own using their instructions, and ideally have a reasonable to good time with it. Now, do you need more reviews than the one video and a couple others? No, I don't think you do. But they are valuable. Each reviewer has an audience, and so getting more reviewers and more write-ups and being, Board Game Geek and a Facebook write-up and a blog and video reviews on YouTube, all those things add to the overall reach and engagement of your project. There is also something to be said of people who, don't buy something until they've seen it 7 times. You may have heard that expression. I don't know if it's exactly true, but basically, the more places I see your picture, your image, your game, your name, the more it validates that that's worth my attention. And so in that regard, it is good to have some more. So you don't necessarily need them all up front. They can come in later as you go, but certainly you need them up front, right? To be clear, do not launch your campaign if you don't have a review on your page. Can you? Sure. Is there a couple success cases you might be able to point to? Sure. For the majority of people, don't go up unless you have that in place. Punt. And even after my first game for the siblings trouble, for one reason or another, people were backed up and I had some issues or what, I had to move my date because it wasn't going to line up. So definitely, right, get those reviews. So I also happen to have a little bit of a unique perspective, not completely unique, but I think somewhat unique in that I'm both a Kickstarter creator, I've done 3 Kickstarters, as well as a reviewer. I do Kickstarter reviews, so on a daily basis or weekly basis, I get a number of requests from Kickstarter creators like you to review your game, right? So I know what it's like to receive those. I also know what it's like to actually have to do them, to do the work, right? So I hope that I can give some perspective in this, okay? So I'm going to go over what you need, how you reach out, and what to expect, okay? So, what do you need? Well, first and foremost, you need a prototype, right? You need a version of your game you can send to me. Do not try to get me to review your game on a print and play. There may be some reviewers out there that are willing to do that, and even there are a couple sites that are like print and play reviewers type sites, but like, doing a review for you takes enough time already. I am not interested in going to Kinko's, printing it out, cutting it out. No, you want me to be a beta tester or something, but like sending me a review, I am just not interested in a print and play. And you shouldn't want me to get a print and play because the amount of mistakes I could make trying to make your game, cutting it out, setting it up, is a risk you just don't want to take. You want a crafted package. You're the maker, you're the creator, you create it. You want this package you can send me that best shows off the game in the state it is in today. And even along those lines, doing the Game Crafter send-off thing can be a mixed bag. Sometimes Game Crafter just chucks it all together, cards aren't in order, they're all like, it is not unreasonable. It would, other than maybe some expenses, maybe you're not from the United States, I mean there are some reasons why you'd go straight from Game Crafter, but generally speaking, still, getting it in front of you, you packaging up, putting a note in it, whatever, and sending it off is better. But there are cases with the Game Crafter where you might legitimately want to go straight there. Okay. Then you need a rule book. And it needs to be clear, it needs to be coherent, it needs to be tested. Do not send me the first rev of your rule book. Do not send me a rule book, and I'm going to bounce back and forth between creator ed and reviewer ed, but do not send a rulebook that hasn't been blind tested. Please. If I don't like read all your stuff, figure out the game, and then wait a week and a half to play test it. I'm going to set up the play test. I'm going to have the people, whether it's my family or my friends, right? My friends are going to come over. And if I'm sitting here looking like an idiot, trying to read your rules, you know what happens? I set it aside, I pick up another game, and I write you an email and say, I can't understand how to play. And then you try to explain it to me, but I'm gone because I don't care anymore, right? So, do it. Do it, do it, do it. I'm not unique in wanting clear rules. You need clear rules, right? So, please, please. Okay, so you have the rules. Do you need anything else? Well, you're going to write an email to send it to me or to see if I'm interested. But beyond that, I don't actually think you need anything else. Having a elevator pitch for your game is always good. 2 sentences that express the fun or proposition, the engage, what kind of experience I'm going to have and gets me excited is helpful. I find it nice to have a website or a Kickstarter page to get to. Like, I think it's nice to be able to see how you're promoting and preparing the games. It's not a requirement in any way. A little marketing image is also nice if it shows the components or the graphics or whatever. Those things just help, and they get me engaged and interested. A video how to play is not a requirement in any way, but that is a really good thing. I definitely enjoy it. If I know that I can watch a video quickly and figure out how to play, but not have to read the instructions, that's valuable to me. If I see your how to play video is 45 minutes long, that's bad. I'm not interested in watching how to play a game for 45 minutes. That tells me I don't want to play this game. That's why you'll need to call your reviewers. We'll get there in a second. Okay, so next little semi-rant. If I get an email and it says, hello, blah, 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 that's what I read. Hello, blah, 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 right? If you don't take the time to address me in the email, if you don't take the time to see my content enough to refer to it, to recognize a video I did, or a review you liked, or whatever, part of the community, blah, blah, blah. If you don't take the time to do that, I'm not going to take the time to help you. You go shoot your email blast to other people. Kickstarting, reviewer, there's very few reviewers where reviewing is their job. There are a couple, most not. And we do it because we want to play, we want to be part of the community, but we don't want to just get spam emailed from people. And that's what happens when you just say hello. When you go to some list and you just get every name and you say hello. Don't do it. Better. As I said in so you want to do a Kickstarter, it's about community. So what you should be doing is months before this email, you should be involved in the community, you should be involved with the reviewers, you should be retweeting reviews I've done, liking things I've said, communicating with me, asking questions, talking on the forums, being supportive of other Kickstarter creators, being supportive of other reviewers, being of value. Because I'll remember that, I'll see that, and then when I get an email, if I can remember your avatar, your name, the name of your game, I've seen it, and then it comes to me. And not because you sent me a text, a message where you asked for a friendship request on Facebook and then sent first thing, I want you to see my review, right? Like, I see you as a natural part of the system, and then I get your email, 10 times more likely to read it, 10 times more likely to be interested, 10 times more likely to sort of do that, well, I might not like it, I might like it, or it seems a little long, but so much more likely to say yes, okay? And in that email, you want to, who it's for, age, number of players, you also want to say time, as well as when the Kickstarter is, okay? And here's important, this needs to be 6 weeks before your Kickstarter, ideally 8 weeks. 4 is really iffy. If you're out of the blue and it's a 4-week request, it's a no. If I've seen you around and I'm engaged with you, maybe because I like you, I'll say, okay, I'll take that 4 weeks on, and maybe it fits my schedule. 2 weeks, forget it. Forget it. Forget it. You have to be a designer who I respect, like, and have played like previous games. You basically have to be close to what I would consider like an internet. You had to be somebody I like genuinely interact with to say, hey Ed, can you turn over a review in a week and a half? I mean, really. So you have what you need. And actually, I talked about the email and how you reach out. What I didn't mention was sort of figuring out who to send to reviews. And one of the things you should do is first find the reviewers. Real easy. Go to Kickstarter right now, hit board games, and then just open up the last 15 or 20 that have run. Maybe the successful ones, whatever you want, or ones that are like your project. And then just look at the reviewers. Take note of who did video reviews, who did written reviews. Then, in addition, there's some good sites. I don't know if it's still on Meeple Mechanic or not. It should be, but he had a great list of reviewers who are willing to do reviews, as well as James Matthey. He has a great site with just that list. But as I said, when talking about the email, don't just spam that list. Look at the list, and then look at the reviews people have done, understand the type of content they're into, and then use that to have a smaller list of people you're going to reach out to, right? Understand if they like miniature games. I mean, there's plenty of reviewers who do all different types of games, right? That's certainly the case. But certainly if you have a dexterity or family-friendly game, you want a reviewer that probably has a family or plays games with kids or reviews that type of content, right? So different reviewers have different, sort of preferences, and you should be aware of that because that's going to make it more likely they're going to select your game. So you have that cold list that you've culled, and then that's when you start not just email blasting, but doing the reach out, getting to know them, being part of the community, and then doing some prep and rolling it through, right? So you had what you need. You've reached out to those reviewers with the email we talked about, following those lessons, and then sort of what to expect, what's next. And this is important. And this is Kickstarter, Ed. You do want to nag. You need to nag the right way. You need to nag at the right cadence, but you do want to follow up with the reviewers. There are a lot of things going on. It is pretty easy to forget about one Kickstarter or another. Okay, so you do want to do it. But how do you do it? Well, you're going to send me an email. It's going to have my name. It's going to say I'm interested. I'm going to review it. I'm going to say, yeah, that sort of fits what kind of game I like, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll respond and say, yeah, cool, I'm in. Okay, so you're going to ask me for my address. I'm going to give it to you. And then you are going to ship out this thing. And so it is reasonable and recommended that you follow up with me to confirm receipt. But don't follow up the day it was supposed to arrive. Please don't. Wait a day, wait 2 days, and then follow up. Hey, Ed, just wanted to check in. Did you happen to receive the game? Don't ask me if I've played it or reviewed. Just, did you receive it? Chances are, if I did, I will say yes. If I didn't, I will say no. And then you'll troubleshoot. Okay, so I received the game. Now, then at some point, it is worth doing a check-in to see that I've played it or if I have any questions. And you probably want to bundle that with something else just to make it a little more palatable. But 2 weeks later, this is 6 weeks, right? 2 weeks later, you'll follow up and say, hey, Ed, just wanted to check in. Did you have a chance to play? Did you have any questions? Oh, we just finished this how to play video. Oh, the Kickstarter page is done. Oh, here's some new art. Whatever. A little sugar with the follow-up, but that's a reasonable time. And it is good because it'll remind me of your timeline. You can remind me of your date. After that, you probably hope I just send it to you, and then you probably want to wait until you're about 10 days out. You need enough time if you have a problem. But when you're reasonably close, hey, just a reminder that Kickstarter's in 10 days. I hadn't heard from you. I just wanted to, confirm you're still planning on doing it or what your timing's like. Anything like that. That is reasonable, right? That is a reasonable ask on your part. I'm likely to respond to it. The thing you want to avoid, a situation you're likely to be in, is you sent 3 copies out or 4 copies out and everyone said they were going to do it and it's a week left and no one seems to be responding. You're in a tough position. You sort of do need to get somebody to step up and confirm and deliver. And you can do that with another email. Might be good to switch it up. Sometimes email falls through. Maybe you message people directly. Maybe even reach out on Twitter. But again, since you don't want to launch without one, you try not to get that last one at the 11th hour. If you have your base in, you then can sort of let people roll through. And expect that some people won't. I don't think I mentioned it, but certainly also I'm more than happy to send along your game prototype to another person. Maybe I did, but you're going to pay for it. And please let me know that you understand that up front. And also let me know, because I tend to keep prototypes around, but if I play review, I don't feel obligated to keep your prototype just sitting in my shelf. Especially if if I love it and I'm playing it, it's a different thing. But so that's really it. Also, you can ask for an unlisted video. That means the video is not live, but you can embed it on your page and see it, and anyone who sees your page can see it. It's a useful tool, and you can also use your preview link on the video from the reviewer. So you don't have to try to coordinate that all morning of. I thought you did in the past, but you don't. I mean, my first campaign. Last little bit here regarding expectations, and also just, so, as a Kickstarter creator, right, reviews are valuable. They validate you, and they create larger audience, and they also can create this seeing something everywhere sort of feel and effect. And they turn on all different sort of social media channels, right? So they're important to you. Actually, as a reviewer, they're important to me too, right? As somebody who creates content, it's important to me to have regular content. Good regular content is the recipe for an audience, right? And so I am actively looking to fill it up. It fills up. I only have so much time, but I welcome people to be interested in, and I look for Kickstarters to write reviews about. And I like playing them. I like playing prototypes. It's fun. You know what? But I can be inundated. I might not have time, and I certainly, don't need a blank letter made to anyone that's going to get me interested. They also take a long time. My reviews are not particularly in depth, right? I might show the components, but I'm not digging in. I'm not doing a how to play. And in and of itself, we're talking about 4 to 6 hours of my time to do all that and to post it and all that stuff, to communicate with you. Somebody who's doing more, 10 hours, 14 hours, so much time, so much effort, right? And so now, it is of value to me, and it is valuable to you, but you need to recognize that, and you need to, and even somebody who has a $200 paid review, right? If you're going to spend playtest, I don't have any problem with that, with paid reviews, right? Again, mine aren't, but I like $20 for 20, $200 for 20 hours in effort is like $10 an hour. You're not paying. This is not like their salary. It's used as a gate to manage the onslaught of people coming in and have you sort of establish that you're serious, right? And that you're taking your campaign seriously and that you're backing your campaign, right? In the same line, I'm not particularly interested in doing a review at the end of a campaign, right? Part of it for me is being part of that groundswell with the review, because otherwise it's not, being 15th on a review is not that great. So those are things to keep in mind. You can reach out. This is a shoulder-to-shoulder, person-to-person business, right? Be willing to connect with people, get to know them, and then respect their time, and they'll respect your time, all that good stuff. So subscribe, share. Most importantly, make some great games. Thanks.